Hi everybody, my name is Chorizo and welcome to my channel. As you already saw in the title, today I'm recommending 11 movies for Valentine's Day. So whether you're single, taken, bitter, or anywhere in between, I'm sure I'll have something for you. So here we go, starting off with my couples. Pride and Prejudice and zombies. I mean, the title says it all. It's the whole Pride and Prejudice plot, except here, 19th century England has been invaded by the undead. So, aside from fighting for their love, Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth Bennet are badass martial arts experts who fight zombies as well. It's not perfect and it is super corny, but it's got romance, action, zombies, and Lily James, making it the perfect movie for a fun, unserious date night with your significant other over some drinks. The Lobster. So this is a more serious cinema type of movie, although if you or your partner are cinephiles, then you've probably already seen it. Nevertheless, though, this movie is set in a futuristic world where choosing to be single is a crime. So a sort of agency/resort exists where people who check into the hotel are given 45 days to find love, or else they get turned into an animal of their own choice. So this movie is a dark comedy romantic drama that balances all of the genres perfectly. It's not too goofy, too lovey-dovey, but also not too serious or too pretentious. I would say this is definitely more suited for long-term partners though, but I mean, if you were looking to test your new partner, then this is definitely the right movie to do so. It Follows. With Valentine's Day comes a lot of cuchiplancheo, if you know what I mean. And what a better way to remember to rubber up than to watch a horror movie about a creature that's transmitted through unprotected chiquistriquis. Really good movie with lots of metaphors, commentary, entertainment, and suspense. Stepford Wives. Joanna, the protagonist, suffers a breakdown after being fired from her job. This, coupled with the fact that she's been having marital problems and her children feel estranged from her, caused her and her husband to make the decision to move from Manhattan to a suburb in Connecticut. However, they quickly discovered that there's actually something wrong with the wives in Stepford. Full transparency, this movie doesn't have the greatest reviews. A lot of people didn't really like it, and I was surprised by that because I genuinely thought it was a funny movie with a lot of iconic scenes. Granted, the plot is a little weird, but I just recommended you a movie about people being turned into animals if they don't find love in 45 days. So like, you know what I mean? Anyways, I just wanted to mention that so that you take my opinion with a grain of salt. However, I'm recommending it because I think it has a very beautiful message about relationship dynamics in the modern day, monotony, and like everything that comes with that. But because the movie doesn't take itself too seriously and leans more on the comedy aspect, it doesn't feel like it's trying to preach a message to you. For my single people who want to laugh their loneliness away, here are my 3 suggestions. The Panty Sisters. This is a Filipino comedy about a wealthy but terminally ill man who agrees to share his inheritance with his 3 sons under the condition that they each give him a grandchild before he passes away. The only problem is, though, that all 3 of his sons are gay. I know comedy is subjective, especially when you're watching a movie whose language you don't speak, but despite the language barrier, this movie had me laughing through it all. It can be a little cheesy and goofy at times, but even if the humor is not to your liking, I feel confident that this movie will keep you invested. It's perfect if you're looking for a movie that does mention relationships but doesn't center romance. Mentiras. This is a Mexican show that follows the stories of 4 women, all of which get invited to the funeral of a man who's been murdered. And it is at this wake that these women will untangle a whole web of mentiras. Now, technically this isn't a movie, it's a show like I said, but I'm including it here because I binge watched it in a whole day. It's only got like 8 episodes if I remember correctly, and each one is about 30 minutes in length. So definitely watchable in a day. And It's not perfect. If I had to rate it, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10 because some of the jokes can be a little hit or miss, and it is a musical, which I know is not everyone's cup of tea. However, it's definitely worth the watch. Overall, it's super funny. It has great set and costume design, lots of relationship drama, lots of 80s nostalgia, lots of 80s pop music, and it's extremely campy. There's a reason this show was a hit in Mexico when it came out. The Odd Family, Zombie for Sale. This Korean film starts off with a pharmaceutical company who creates a zombie by accident while trying to develop illegal experimental medicine. This zombie ends up escaping and accidentally crossing paths with the Park family, who, rather than being scared, end up keeping him because 1, their youngest daughter develops a crush on him, and 2, they find a way to profit off of him. But get-rich schemes never end up working for anyone. And I know the plot sounds a little nonsensical, but I promise you, it's way better than it sounds. Just give it a try. And finally, we have our anti-Valentine's list. Starting off with Gone Girl. After a famous woman goes missing, police start uncovering clues that point to her husband being the culprit. I know that this movie is pretty much on every single anti-Valentine's Day list ever created, but in the slight chance that you haven't seen it and you're looking for a movie to make you feel better about being single, then this is definitely the one for you. Regardless of your gender, both of the protagonists are absolute assholes that you would never ever want to date. And because this is a crime thriller, you will not get that sort of Valentine's Day vibe, despite how significant relationships are to the plot of this movie. Marriage Story. This is a movie about a couple going through a nasty divorce and all of the things that led them there in the first place. And that's actually my favorite part about this movie. Both of the characters feel very human, and so you'll often find yourself rooting for both of them, but also being completely frustrated by their flaws. However, tiny disclaimer, this is a very dramatic movie, and although I doubt you'll leave this film wanting to fall in love, it deals with a lot of touchy subjects, which can be emotionally draining for some people, aka don't watch this if you don't want to cry. How to be single. 4 women living in New York have different ideas of how to be single, different reasons as to why they are single, and different ways to cope with that. If I'm being completely honest with you, I didn't really like this movie, mainly because it's marketed as a comedy and I didn't really find it funny, but I decided to include it on this list because I do feel like it has a good message. It's not a movie that sets out to convince you that love is a necessity or that boo, love sucks, being single is based. It's just a simple story about different people that are at different stages in their life. And I think that can be a comforting message for somebody out there. My Best Friend's Wedding. When Julianne learns that her best friend is engaged, she suddenly realizes that she's always been in love with him, which is why she develops a plan to sabotage his wedding so that she can gain him back. Although I find Julia Roberts to be incredibly annoying as the main protagonist in this one, I actually really enjoyed this movie. It had a very different take where instead of making the main protagonist the perfect Your Name character, they actually had her go on this introspective journey. It was entertaining, fun, and comforting in a weird way. Definitely an anti-Valentine's movie despite what it might seem like on the surface. So there you go, those were my 11 suggestions for Valentine's Day. Let me know if you end up watching any of these and what you thought of them. Do you agree or disagree with my opinions of them? And finally, regardless of your plans, I hope that you have a happy Valentine's Day. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you around. Bye!